turning now to the fight for voting rights ahead of next year's midterms. A vicious partisan and legal fight is already underway over redistricting. These are headlines about redistricting lawsuits from just the last week regarding suits filed in 5 states, including Texas, where the Justice Department accuses GOP lawmakers of violating the Voting Rights Act with their new proposed map. Joining me now, Eric Holder, who served as Attorney General of the United States during the Obama administration. He's now chairman of the National Democratic Redistricting Committee. Attorney General Holder, welcome back to the Sunday Show.
It's good to see you, Jonathan, and congratulations on your first year. You brought wit and wisdom to Sunday morning. It's good to see you.
Thank you. Thank you very, very much. So, the last time we were here, we didn't have maps to talk about. We knew that redistricting was going to be an issue and was going to be a challenge. Is what you've seen so far in terms of the maps that have come out, is it worse than you had anticipated?
It's about what I anticipated, but I anticipated something that was going to be totally awful and unbelievably anti-democratic. What we have seen in Texas, in Georgia, in North Carolina, in Ohio, we have seen Republicans take advantage of the gerrymandered maps that they drew in 2011 to try to continue that retention of power, that illegitimate retention of power, and draw even more gerrymandered maps in 2021. And that's why we have been filing lawsuits around the country. It's why we have been trying to bring public attention to this issue so that people understand what is actually at stake. When you talk about redistricting and gerrymandering, it sounds kind of opaque. People's eyes glaze over. But if you care about a woman's right to choose, if you care about health care, if you care about criminal justice reform, the protection of voting rights, climate, all of these things are directly connected to the problem of gerrymandering and the need for a fair redistricting process.
Mm-hmm. And speak more about a fair redistricting process. Is that a redistricting commission, nonpartisan or bipartisan commission, where not the legislators get involved, but this commission gets involved in drawing the maps?
Yeah, I think that's the gold standard. If you can come up with a good redistricting commission, that's the best way to draw the maps. Take the responsibility for drawing the lines out of self-interested politicians and put it in the hands of people who are neutral, who are nonpartisan. And, some commissions have done their jobs, I think, extremely well. Others have not done it as well. But I think that's something that we should, aspire to. But I think the real answer is making sure that the Freedom to Vote Act, which is presently before the Senate, that actually gets put into law. Mm-hmm. What we're dealing with now is kind of a state by state fight. What we need to do is have national standards. And the Freedom to Vote Act has a number of good provisions in it, not the least of which is that it simply bans partisan gerrymandering. If you put that in place, that really alleviates the problem around the country.
So, Attorney General Holder, I asked you that question because I want to show you a tweet from Dave Wasserman that he put out last week on redistricting. And he tweeted out, by our estimate, neutral/commission maps in the blue states of California, Colorado, New Jersey, Virginia, and Washington, 93 seats total, will end up costing Democrats 10 to 15 House seats they could have seized by gerrymandering, making Republicans even stronger favorites for House control. So I bet when, Democrats take a look at that tweet, I can see some of them, doing a face palm, like, how could we do this to ourselves? Your reaction to what Dave Wasserman says there?
Well, I've got great respect for Dave, but I tend to disagree with his numbers. I think that, those numbers are a little exaggerated. And what I said, understand what I said here, where the commissions are properly structured and peopled with people who are going to do their jobs in a nonpartisan good way, I think you get good results. The Virginia Commission, for instance, was, as we indicated way back when, was positioned to put itself into a deadlock situation, which it did. And now the Supreme Court in Virginia will be actually drawing the lines. The commission in California historically has done a good job. Republicans have attacked these commissions. They've gone after the commission in commission in Utah. They've gone after the commission in Arizona. And so you've got to look at the way in which the commissions are structured and then the way in which Republicans have gone after them. What I said was, if you have good commissions and if you allow them to do their jobs, that's the best way in which to do redistricting.